Go ahead, Joe. What we talking about, man?
So some music that we did get over the weekend was a new Mac Miller album,
Yeah.
but in a way, it's not technically a new Mac Miller album because it's not I wouldn't say it's like your typical posthumous. Is that how you say the word?
Yes.
Posthumous release.
Good job, Joe.
Thank you. Drop a bomb for me, Nelson.
Nigga getting bombs for pronunciation. The bar is in hell.
Not everybody can do that. Remember, not everybody had hooked on phonics growing up, so they can't do that.
No, for real. A lot of niggas didn't take typing classes too, and it's coming back to bite y'all niggas in the ass.
Y'all motherfuckers can't type for shit. Y'all just so worthless.
Y'all clearly weren't on Mario typing.
Yeah. Boy, y'all just so worthless.
Bro, imagine having to type on the typewriter.
Bro, imagine being a
Can't fuck
TikTok.
up on that either.
Never mind. Imagine being a TikTok star and having to actually get a job now.
That's pain.
What's gonna happen to the NPCs?
Bro,
they gonna try and go to
like what's gonna happen to the NPCs?
Exactly, bro.
Actually, I'm kind of glad for that because that shit was mad annoying. I hated that shit.
Me too.
Because I was like, what is the purpose of this?
Yeah, I do gotta shout out my boy Michael Artist. He had over
Artisma?
Yeah, but his last name Artist.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, that's for SEO.
Ah,
yeah, that's for SEO. No, but shout out to my boy Michael because he had over 111 something K on TikTok and has been like flooding the other channels to the point where he's up on Instagram too now. He's up on YouTube too now. That just shows you that just because one avenue worked for you doesn't mean that you can't go down multiple roads at the same time, especially when you have the platform already there. So shout out to him. I want to throw a applause in the thing because if TikTok does end up getting banned, we got some motherfuckers from the city that are gonna be all right.
Yeah.
So
I'm glad. I'm happy.
Sweet.
And that's a black man. So
drop a bomb for him.
Man. Fuck. It's one of them days, man. Dropped a bomb message. A message bomb.
Woo! But yeah, so Mac Miller dropped a new album. It's not your typical posthumous release because it's not just random songs that were put together on an album or refreshed, redefined. It was actually an album that he worked on back in 2013, 2014. It was the time period between watching movies with the sound off and Faces. And so originally, after watching movies with the sound off, he started working on an album called Balloonerism.
Yeah.
And then as he was making it, he also started developing Faces. And the goal was to put some of those songs on the Faces, but then Faces eventually became its own thing. But this was an album that he really felt strongly about and he was really passionate about. So he always wanted to put it out, but he could never just find the right time to do it creatively because he was always in different spaces. And so his family, his estate wanted to put this together and actually give it the official release because it started leaking a little bit in 2020 and people started talking about the Secret Mac album that never came out. And this was what it was.
What do you think? I got through like half of it before I had to be like, I can't lose to it right now. I'm getting too sad.
Yeah.
It made you sad?
Yeah, it made me hella sad just because that's just something that's been happening a lot.
Yeah.
You know, last year, like my brother-in-law OD, you know, and that's how Mac died, how Little Peep died, how B-Joe died.
Were you a big Peep guy?
None of our friends. Yeah, that was like, I enjoy his music. I thought highly of his music.
Rich Homie Quan.
Just
Rich Homie, bro.
Yeah. And just it's sad to see that shit and hear about it. And I think it just makes it harder for me to like hear that shit.
Especially
it be hitting too close to home for me. So I'll be like, I just have to turn it off.
Yeah, I feel that because when I was listening to it, I did get like really sad because it's from a time period when Mac was still like really young. But the thing I loved about Mac's music, that it was always like this pureness to it.
Yeah.
And innocence that it's just like, oh, this is just a good dude. It felt like who had his own battles and struggles himself, but he was still like, he didn't let that make him bitter or turn him angry. He was everybody around him said he was just kind, a good dude.
Smiling. He seemed like he was all right.
Yeah. And to hear that and just know like how it ended up playing in the end for his story is just so heartbreaking to hear because, you know, Faces, he kind of dove into like that dark space a little bit more.
Yeah.
And you could hear that on Balloonerism where he's starting to get to that point and creatively. Because I think the second half, I think it's after Miss Debbie Downer.
That's where I stopped at.
Yeah, because that's
where I was like, damn, this is hella descriptive. Like,
yeah, it was like that one.
And I don't think he's ever talked about like drugs like that.
No.
So
mostly just
like
coding.
openly. Yeah. I mean, no, he talked about like different drugs or on like Faces. He's like talking about blow and snorting lines and shit.
Yeah.
But it's like
he wasn't.
he was just like, yeah.
That's
just
when he
crush
really
it
started
up.
going down that. And I think
It's more detailed,
yes,
different feel. It was like,
And
whoa,
for like Miss Deborah Downer, Stone,
Shangri-La.
Shangri-La, Funny Papers, and Excelsior. I think that's like the stretch where it started hitting that dark space creatively, where you can kind of see where the sound of faces was starting to develop a little bit. Because I think the first half is more like an ode to what he was doing with the live instruments on watching movies.
Because it's very jazzy. It feels like
yeah,
kind of gives like lounge vibes,
especially like $5 pony rides, like some
yeah,
synths, some keys in there.
Yeah, I'm gonna buy what you want. That shit was cool.
Yeah,
he's funky too.
He was
He's a
actually
funky dude.
Fun fact too. The cool thing about this album is that all the production is under his what is it, Larry Fisherman moniker.
Oh, okay, sick.
Yeah, and then Thundercat had a bunch of production credits on it as well.
I seen Delusional Thomas was a feature too.
Yes.
Yeah, I wonder how Thundercat feels about the project.
I think he felt pretty good about it. I think he posted about it.
Yeah.
Just say, I miss you. Yeah. But I think how it's cool how he sequenced it, because it almost feels like the story is of this. It's almost like a dream-like sequence, right? Where Tangerine Dream starts off and just the tangerine playing, and the first 5 songs are pretty atmospheric, almost like a dream-like state. And then I feel like it's just him just kind of documenting his time and fame at that point, where he's getting more bigger and more famous. It's like a balloon; he's just getting higher and higher, like metaphorically and just in life.
Yeah.
And I think it's just kind of a play onto that. And you start to see like the dark side of that a little bit towards the end of the album, when, maybe he starts to get into some more of that Faces space now.
Yeah.
And that's where Delusional Thomas comes in. Because I think this might have been like the start of Delusional Thomas, or it might have been like a little bit after he put out that project.
That was some weird shit. He said, but on Face, I think it's Faces. He's got a line where it's like, everybody's scared of what I do inside my studio. Yeah,
worried I'm gonna lose control.
Yeah, and I'm like, whoa.
And so this album was made during that era where he was just in his house in LA in the Red Room, so making hella music.
It starts to just like descend towards the end. The balloon is like tanking.
Yeah, because like what's the outro called? Tomorrow We'll Never Know. Tomorrow We'll Never Know. And it's just 11-minute like instrumental outro essentially. And it just does a really good job of just setting this eerie vibe that if this would have came out before Faces and then Faces followed, it would have been a perfect album in the middle. Yeah.
Yeah, they complement each other pretty well.
Yeah.
Yeah. That shit is crazy.
Yeah, but it did reemphasize just how much losing Mac into that situation, how it all happened in real time, and just feeling those real emotions and impact when we got the news. It just kind of hammered home how much that shit does hurt me, just how he passed away, and then how it kind of became a reoccurring thing just in the world, in our lives, that people passed away like that.
Yeah. It definitely is shocking.
Yeah. But wake up call, you could say.
Yeah, 100% a wake up call. And it just shows you like, just gotta love your people out. They here, and just you never know what somebody going through.
Because even when Mac passed away, I thought he was at a point where he was probably the most clean and sober he's been in a while.
Yeah.
Because that was the sentiment I got. But when I listened to Swimming, one of the concepts and the themes he talked about was how he is overcoming his issues and his problems, but he's not fully beating them just yet. He's like above water.
Yeah.
He's swimming above water right now, but he's making strides. And so like when it went that way, it's just like, damn, son, the whole album is about you keeping your head above water. And the thing you was like trying to overcome is like the thing that eventually brought you down.
Got you, yeah. That shit tough.
It is. But, I am happy that, when he ultimately did pass, like everybody just had nothing but great things to say about him. And he's really a figure in hip hop that is always beloved. Even when he was alive, people loved him and respected him as an artist and as a person. And I think that's just great. I think we need more of that energy in hip hop. Just some good people.
Yeah.
Genuine good people. Because think about it. The Mac Miller tree is a huge one when you look back on it. Like from 2012 to 2015, what he did in LA while he was out there, he helped a lot of people. He gave a lot of people platforms, chances.
Vince. No Vince without Mac.
Exactly.
Sure. Man, it is pretty crazy. But everyone felt like they was friends with him, I would say.
Yeah.
That's the kind of music he made. So, he he did what he was supposed to while he was here.
Yeah, and I don't know. I just always, it sucks that he passed when he did because he still had so much more to give to the world, especially music wise, because he was so talented. And every project he put out, he was always progressing his sound and what he wanted to do, and the quality of it too. Like I think Mac after Blue Slide Park, I think Mac really got better with each album, and that's why it was so cool to experience.
Then what was it after Blue Slide Park?
Macadelic.
Yeah,
the
Macadelic.
And watching
that's
movies.
Album. They consider that an album.
It's a mixtape.
Yeah, and then watching movies. That's the next album
that's the
that
album.
came out. That shit was crazy. I love that shit. And then you could tell he was like off at that point.
Yeah, a little deranged,
it was like,
a little delusional.
And he put that was it the Loaded Lux disc?
Yeah,
that shit is hard.
Easy Mac with the cheesy
That's
raps.
like one of my favorite hip hop moments, and that's like a clever way to respond to like some beef.
Yeah, that was brewing.
Like
apparently.
to address it. Like, oh, I think this is cool.
You want to be on the album? And then just like that. See,
you think he got credits?
I think he did.
That's
on the album, yeah, for sure. Because knowing Mac, he probably would do it the right way. Just be like, hey, I fuck with that. That's funny.
Yeah.
Let's put it on the album.
Let's do it.
He didn't take himself too seriously. And like when people called him out, he never took it personal. He just continued to be himself. And the more you learned about Mac, the more you saw he really was just a hip hop head at heart. Like he just loved rapping. He loved the genre and he loved being a part of it. And
did it all without a Drake feature.
And he did it all without a Drake feature. Drop a bomb, Andre. Yeah, so I think this is a great release. I think his estate's done a great job just handling his music post departure with was it Circles, the last posthumous album?
Yes.
Like that was all original music that he was working on too. Like they're not doing it, I think, in a distasteful way. They're really treating his legacy with care and making sure that when they do present these projects, it's done right and it's done how he would have wanted it. So, applause to them. Andre, give him a round of applause. What? What was that? What was that, Andre?
Hey man, my finger's slipping, man.
Pause.
He's doing it on purpose.
Whoa. What do you mean by that?